everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm drawing Zelda from Breath of the Wild, but in a kimono that I made and designed myself. This is inspired by Princess Peach from Mario Odyssey. When you save her, she ends up changing to a bunch of different outfits when she goes to each different world. And one of the worlds she goes to, she shows up in a kimono with one of the Japanese masks that you wear on your head. So I decided that since I really enjoyed the way that she looked and how I just really liked her outfit, so I wanted to draw sort of all of the, I guess, main Nintendo girls. So Zelda, Peach, and Samus. So the first one I'm posting is going to be Zelda, and right now I'm just doing the line art for the sketch that I did in my sketchbook, and I decided rather than just leaving it as like a sketchbook sketch that I would actually go through and do a whole painting of. I'm also debating on potentially doing like prints of this in the future, since one of my goals for next year is to hopefully get into at least one convention for like Artist Alley. So I plan on taking all three of these drawings and scanning them and making it into like one drawing for a poster. So we'll see if that comes around, if that happens. So right now I'm just starting to do the painting of this piece. For this one, I decided since it was so small, I was gonna try not taping it down. It didn't really, I guess, warp or I guess buckle in the middle like it usually does because it's such a small piece. With larger watercolor pieces, I tend to tape them down. With the other two drawings of Peach and Samus though, I do end up just taping them down to try to even minimize it even more. I think actually though that the Peach one is the one that didn't warp too much though, so I don't know, I'll take a look at that, but it's pretty funny though that I found that the ones that I taped down do seem to be warped a little bit more than this Zelda drawing that I did. So now I am going through and coloring the piece. With this piece, I actually did a gradient with her outfit with the yukata. I believe this is the first gradient I've ever done, or maybe like the second one I've ever done. I really like the way that the gradient turned out. I honestly didn't think it was going to turn out that well, but in the finished piece I think it did turn out really well. With this piece I tried a lot of new techniques. My blending with like skin tones and stuff have gotten a lot better, and it's actually kind of crazy how much better I'm getting at blending with watercolors. I only just started using them in, I believe, January is when my first Instagram post is for my watercolor art, which I think is just crazy how much I've improved since then. With the Princess Peach piece that will be coming up eventually, I show at the end I've actually done the Princess Peach piece before, and I show side by side the amount of improvement from the watercolors, and it's just crazy the difference. Like, it's insane. So I'm really glad that with these pieces I sort of pushed my art a little bit further and am trying more, I guess, techniques that I haven't tried before. So I really enjoyed doing that. With her yukata as well, I decided to do a Triforce pattern. With the Peach design from Mario Odyssey, she has like fire flowers on there, so I decided for Zelda I'd just do the Triforce pattern, and I also drew her holding the princess flower from the game from Breath of the Wild as well. that flower was really difficult to draw just because there's so many parts of the flower that's overlapping. So like on the petals there's, I don't know what it's called, but it's like, I guess for like the pollen and stuff, those pieces were overlapping the petals of the flower, and up until the point of when I did the line art, you couldn't really tell that they were there, and that you couldn't really see a huge distinction between that and the petals. So I'm glad that I decided to go through with the line art, and for the flower as well I did a green line art, and I think it was green and brown I used only for this piece. So right now I'm also going through with my small watercolor detailing brush. This brush is really annoying to use because of the fact you can see that the paint is like chipping off on it. I'm not sure why the paint is chipping off on it. I have, I think, 3 of these watercolor brushes, and all of them, for whatever reason, the paint is chipping off of them. So it's really annoying to use these with watercolor pieces because they end up chipping while I'm using them. You can see it, like there's a piece on my desk to the right there, and it just drives me up the wall, especially when it gets stuck in like my paintings. I just wish I could peel the rest of the paint off and repaint them, but it's just, some of the paint's just still stuck on there. So that's why I prefer using the watercolor brushes I'm using here, which are the water barrel ones. They hold water inside them and they don't have paint on them to chip. So it's much easier to use these ones and they're way less annoying. Also here I decided to do like a gold trim around her yukata. She's the only one that I did like a trim with, but I really liked the way the trim came out. It was like last minute I decided to do it too, because you can see that I didn't leave any space for it. Usually I would leave it like white if I wanted to paint over top of it, but I didn't. But because of the gold that I was using, it's like a shimmery gold, it painted over the blue, and the blue was pretty much light where I painted over it, so it just painted over it and didn't have like much blue showing through. I think a couple spots it looks a little green because of the blue, but I think it turned out well anyway. Now I'm just going through the finishing touches of the piece. I'm doing the final line art of it. I also didn't talk about her mask. So for her mask, I did a green choo-choo, and I think it turned out really well. I like the way that the eyes turned out specifically for the mask. I did like, I think it's a dark blue and then a purple and then it's white and then the pupil is red. So I really like the way that that turned out for her mask, and I just really enjoyed doing the line art for this one. Also, like I said before, I did green for the flower, which should be coming up soon. And yeah, I just really like the way that this whole piece turned out. I'm not sure if I should go back in and do like a watercolor color around all of the girls so that it's not just a plain white background. I'm not sure if I'll do that or not, or I plan on taking this in digitally just to fix up a couple of the mistakes that are in it, so I might do it digitally instead. But for the most part, I'm really proud of how this piece turned out in the other two as well. I plan on uploading those like every other week. That way people don't get like bombarded with pretty much almost the same video every week. Like they're all blonde, they all have blue eyes, I believe, and so it pretty much looks like the same video almost. So I'm gonna be uploading them every other week, and that's pretty much it for this video. So hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Sunday for next week's video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.